Today is new moon day, so our residents want to observe the monastic 8 precepts. It is in page 12 in the new book, and maybe page 10 in the old book. Those who have that big book, maybe page 6 or 8. Huh?
Page 10.
Page 10. Okay. Okay. In this book, page 10, and the other book, page 12. And those who have that may look at it. So you start. Okay.
Sukasa aham bhante, tisarena sadi, atanga silam yachami, anugaham katva silam vedame bhante, dutiyampi lokasa aham bhante, tisarena sadi, atanga silam yachami, anugaham katva silam vedame bhante, tatyampi lokasa aham bhante, tisarena sadi, atanga silam yachami, anugaham katva silam vedame bhante.
Yamaham vadami tam vadeta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Sama Sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanam sampunnam. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. brahmacharya veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Brahmacharya Devamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musavada Devamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Natya gita vadita visuka darsana mala gandhalepana dharana mandana vibhusanattana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Uchchasayana mahasayana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Imam attanga silang samadhiyami. Saranena sadhyang attanga silang samadhiyitva sadhukam surakhitam kattva appamadena sampadetabam. Silena sugatim yanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibbhutim yanti tasma silam visodhaye. Now, we start meditation. You have the papers in front of you for metta recital. By the way, we repeat this same metta recital, same meditation instructions every day. When you want to, if I ask you to drill 100 feet deep to get water, you might logically drill 10 feet deep, 10 holes, and may tell me that we dug 100 feet, but we could not get water. Logically, you are right that you drilled 100 feet, but you never get water. In order to get water, you have to drill 100 feet in one place. Only then can you get water. Similarly, when we repeat the same instruction over and over again, that will carve a groove in our mind. That means when we keep drilling the same thing over and over again, you get the message. As you know, even if you tell a lie 100 times, it becomes a truth in your mind. they are not telling a lie. They are telling the truth, and that is what we have to do in order to be independent of instructions. Some of you are solo practitioners. Some of you may not have the opportunity to live in suitable location, as I mentioned yesterday. But then you still need some advice, instruction to practice meditation. So when you get these basic instructions every day, you may remember them and then can follow. For this reason, I repeat the same instruction every day. Now let us sit in comfortable posture, keeping the body straight, upright, and relaxed. And keep your hands on your lap. Close your eyes and focus your mind on your breathing. We just finished reciting precepts. Now we are going to recite metta. At this time, if you don't remember metta recital, look at the papers and read it along with me. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or not, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment. Whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or in our bed, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divine living. Not falling into erroneous views, but virtuously and down with vision, removing desire for sensual. One comes liberating. This metta recital has very powerful, deep meaning. Provided you read and reflect on it, you can see the depth and width of this discourse. Anyway, keeping this in mind, focus your mind on your breathing paying total attention to your breath without verbalizing or conceptualizing. And take 3 deep breaths to notice the sensation of breathing. And then breathe normally, noticing inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling, noticing expansion of your lungs area as you breathe in, expanding your abdominal area as you breathe in, contracting abdominal area and lungs area as you breathe out. And these functions are very normal. We simply become aware of them. As we pay attention to our breath and its expansion and contraction as they happen, we feel the breath becoming relaxed, the body becoming relaxed, mind becoming relaxed. In this relaxed state of the body, breath and the mind, greed does not exist. When greed arises, mind gets agitated, excited. So when the mind is calm, relaxed and peaceful, greed does not arise. Then body and mind becomes even more calm, more relaxed, more peaceful. At that time, your resentment or anger fades away, making your body and mind even more calm, more relaxed. At that time, you may even feel sleepy and drowsy. You feel heavy head. That sometimes is very sweet, very pleasant, and we tend to welcome it. But we have to be mindful not to do that. We have to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness, because no matter how long we sleep, we won't get up with insight. We must remain awake and mindful to develop our insight. So we have to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness by visualizing very bright light, perception of light. That has to be so bright like sun's light. Sometimes if it doesn't work, you may take a very deep breath, hold it as long as you can, and breathe out. As you breathe in and hold it and slowly breathe out several times, your body warms up, sleepiness vanishes. Then you may have excess energy, perhaps. Then you may remember various past experiences that you have had in the past, experiences through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, pleasant experiences or unpleasant experiences, traumatic experiences and peaceful experiences. Then the mind gets even more active, more restless. Or the mind will go into the future. You may be planning the future, thinking of what you are going to do after your meditation. This way the mind vacillates between the past and the future. We have to overcome this pendulum activity of the mind, focusing it on something in the present moment. Present moment awareness of the breath, which always is there for you to focus the mind on. So focus your mind on the breath and anchor the mind in this present moment breath experience. And then you may still have doubt about your own achievement. In order to overcome that, we have to think of the wonderful, noble qualities of the Buddha. We have to have trust and confidence in the Buddha, who introduced this method of mindfulness practice from his own personal experience. He developed this mindfulness, focusing his mind on the breath. He practiced anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, in order to attain liberation by overcoming all hindrances and fetters and influxes in the mind. He followed the Dhamma, which eventually he made his own teacher, and asked his disciples to follow the Dhamma. Following his advice, many millions of disciples attained the same state of enlightenment. And therefore, this system works perfectly well for those who are very sincere in liberating themselves from samsaric suffering. And we follow that method. Have total 100% confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and those holy disciples. Moreover, we have overcome our greed, resentment, sleepiness and drowsiness, restlessness and worry. And this success is our achievement, and therefore we too can attain the same state. Without any doubt and hesitation, we must continue this practice. As we mentioned earlier yesterday, when we overcome greed, it is like paying off all our debts. When you pay off all your debts, you feel relief of burden. resentment or anger, when arises, it's like being sick. When you are sick, you cannot taste food, you cannot appreciate anything, you are so down and unhappy. When you recover from sickness, you can taste food and appreciate everything around you. Sleepiness and drowsiness is like being in a maximum security present. Once you get out of it, you feel very free, independent. Restlessness and worry is like being slaves. When one is under a master-slave master, he is always restless, nervous, because anytime slave master punished the person. Freedom from slavery is like freedom from restlessness and worry. Or freedom from restlessness and worry is like freedom from slavery. Doubt is like being in a desert where you don't have roads, signs, any directions. You are bewildered and confused. Once you get out of the desert, you feel free. When you are free from all this indebtedness, sickness, prison, slavery, and desert, you are full of joy. It increases by degrees, and mind becomes very calm, relaxed, and peaceful. That leads to happiness. Happy state of mind is even calmer and more peaceful. This happiness is not an excitement. As you know, ordinary happiness makes you excited, jumping up and down, singing, dancing, kissing, hugging, even crying. But this happiness makes you calmer and calmer, more and more peaceful. You gain concentration. Once concentrated, you are not like a vegetable. Your mind is pure and clean and sharp, so that you can see things exactly as they are. What are the things? Things are our body, feelings, perceptions, volition and consciousness. These are the things we have. These are all we have. And what we see in them as they are is that they all are changing constantly at an inconceivable rapidity. So fast they change, even the mind cannot keep up with the changes. But when the mind is concentrated mind can see very deep, profound, sharpest changes. Even at molecular levels. proton, neutron levels. That is a great help to overcome our greed, hatred, and delusion forever. And that is how we are able to uproot greed, hatred, and delusion. Friends, that is our goal. Whether you meditate now, here, or there, anytime, this is the steps you have to follow. When you follow these steps, you can liberate yourself from samsaric suffering by overcoming greed, hatred, and delusion. Keeping this in mind, let us spend some time in meditation this morning. of these meritorious days, may I never join with the foolish. May I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Bhavana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. May all beings in the world, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Friends, I want to speak more on daily practice. People ask me how they do their daily meditation practice. I think it is very important for us to remember or know the way we must practice meditation in our daily life. You probably might have heard people say that when you wash dishes, pay attention to the dish washing. Paying attention to dishwashing, if that is meditation or mindfulness, all dishwashers in restaurants and homes are practicing meditation. When you pay attention to what you do, it's very simple, common thing. Suppose you use a chainsaw, you have to be very careful and pay attention to the hands and saw and how you hold it and so forth. When you cut vegetable, mince your onion with a very sharp knife, you have to pay attention to that. That is not mindfulness. That is carefulness. Anybody who does not know any meditation is careful. When one does some risky thing, climbing mountains and climbing rocks, so forth, people have to be very careful. Mindfulness is much deeper than that, more profound, and in other ways, no matter how much you wash dishes and pay attention to them, you never attain enlightenment. You never reduce one iota of your greed, hatred, and delusion. They remain intact, untouched. Mindfulness is something different, more meaningful. It is inner work, inside work, not outside work. So, external objects remains as they are. They don't emanate, they don't radiate, they don't put out greed, hatred, or illusion. These columns, lights, fans, they are there. Trees, animals, people, they are there. They don't generate hate waves towards us, sending greedy message, radiations. They are not like virus or germs. They are there. If they have greed, their greed is in them. Greed is not infectious. Hatred is not infectious. They are there. What is, and they are not poison, they are not weapons, they are not fire. They are there. Weapon, poison, and fire are in us. We have weapons. We have poison. We have fire within us. When we are in daily life, we have to look at them. While washing dishes, if in a fire is lit, in a weapon is sharpening, in a poison is munching it, making it more powerful, look at them. Look at them. Outside things cannot make us angry, cannot bring us poison, cannot cut us. They are there. So, Sankaparago Purusasakama. Sankaparago Purusasakama. Greedy intention is person's sensual pleasure. Greedy intention is a person's sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure is not outside. People are people. Animals are animals. Trees are trees. Water streams are water streams. And so forth. But depending on them, using our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, we generate within us fire, poison and weapon. What are the fire, poison and weapon? Greed, hatred and delusion. Greed, hatred and delusion. There is a discourse in Anguttara Nikaya called Metta Nisansa Sutta, Metta Nisansa. Benefit of practicing metta. Benefit of practicing metta. There are 11 benefits, but I want to use only one, which is relevant to my talk this morning. One is that when one practices metta, fire, poison, weapon does not affect the person. Nasa giva sattanga visangva kamati. Fire, poison, weapon does not affect the person who practices metta. Is it true when somebody uses a gun while I'm sitting and meditating, or outside, or from the back or from behind outside, trigger the gun. Gun. Doesn't the bullet, if there is a bullet in the gun, doesn't it go through my body, my head? It will. No heart, no body. It will definitely go through my body. If somebody set fire around me while I'm meditating quietly, fire will consume me. Fire will burn me. If somebody gives me a piece of cake with poison in it, very delicious, juicy cake that I like very much, I eat it. And the poison goes into my body and bloodstreams, and I will be killed. So, I like to mention a story that just popped up in my mind right now. There was a lady called Samavati. She is Buddha designated her to be the chief of lay women who practices meditation, metta meditation. Buddha appointed and named people, specialists. Samavati was a specialist in the practice of metta meditation. Not only that, she was teaching metta meditation, loving friendliness meditation. She was one of the concubines of King Udayana. Udayana has harem. She was one of them, maybe chief. And there was another woman called Madhandya. She was jealous of this Samavati. She was very angry with the Buddha because when her father proposed her to the Buddha, Buddha rejected her. She was very beautiful woman. When any man proposed to her in marriage, she would reject him, saying one fault or another in the person. He's short or fat or dark or thin or something like this. She was Then her father found the Buddha to be perfect in personality, majestic, radiant, young, beautiful, handsome, powerful prince. So he brought this girl to him and proposed. This is my daughter. Would you like to marry her? Buddha said, this was ragam aratin gatincha, na hosi kamam apidetonasmi, kimme vidam mutta karisapunnan, padapinan, pusitum na iche. Seeing tanha rati divine names, seeing three divine names, I did not have an iota of lust in me. How much less desire I have for this woman. Please don't get offended. This is the truth. who is full of urine and excrement, who is going to marry her? It's such a great insult to her. She thought her body is made up of gold. This body is not made up of gold, anybody. My body, your body, anybody. Anyway, she was so offended that she conceived grudge against the Buddha. And she wanted to take revenge. But she could not do that because Buddha was so great. Then she decided to take revenge from somebody. So she wanted to hurt somebody who Buddha respects. That was Samavati, practicing metta. And he said, among my lay metta meditating lay women, Samavati was number one. She was, as I said, practicing metta meditation and teaching metta meditation every week for 500 women. So one day, this Mahagandhya, she planned many things to kill Samavati. She was not successful. One day when she was meditating with 500 women in a big hall like this, maybe bigger, 500, Mahagandhya got her uncles and nephews and so forth, relatives, and covered the whole building with cloth, put oil, and set fire. All the 500 women died in that fire. So they were practicing metta and died in the fire. So fire, outside fire, can kill us. But the fire inside, when we practice metta, it is inside fire that will be extinguished. Inside fire. What is inside fire? Greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed, hatred, and delusion. When Samavati and other 500 women were dying in the fire, Samavati shouted very loudly, "Sisters, sisters, this is the time to practice metta. Let the body die. Let the body burn. Don't have any minutest an iota of anger in your mind towards the person who set fire. This is the time to practice metta." You see? So she really practiced metta even at that very dangerous, dire moment. And she died peacefully. Buddha said when they died, Buddha said each and every one of them had attained stream entry. Every one of them had attained stream entry. Because they focus the mind inside, not on outside fire. Outside fire can burn, but we must be very careful not to let us be burned by inside fire. And therefore, outside things cannot do anything to us. When you wash dishes, no dishes can purify your mind. When you are eating, the food cannot make our mind impure. But our attitude, intention, greedy intention is a person's sensual pleasure, greedy intention. That is why in Noble Eightfold Path, Intention is very, very important. The second step of the Noble Eightfold Path is right intention. What is right intention? Intention, nekkhamma sankappa, avyapada sankappa, avihimsa sankappa. Intention to let go, renunciation. Letting go is renunciation. People think renunciation is something, because the word is very big word, renunciation. Letting go, finish. Leave our homes, our family, our jobs and everything. Let go, let go. Then people will be overwhelmed by the thought of, how can I give up all this? My friends, my relatives, my job, my bank account. How can I? Friends, renunciation is the thing that we have to practice slowly, gradually, chipping off little by little at a time. We must let go. That is how we practice renunciation. And then, avyapada sankappa, metta practice. Thought of anger, angry thought, we must let go. Then avihimsa sankappa, thought of non-cruelty. We have to let go of the thought of cruelty, practicing compassion. We practice metta to let go. We have to practice generosity to let go of our greed. We have to practice metta to let go of our hatred. We have to practice compassion to let go of the thought of cruelty. We can do that slowly and gradually. For instance, when you go to a shopping mall, these are the things that you do in daily life. Go to a shopping mall. You find something very attractive, tie or blouse or pair of shoes, or something very attractive, because they are specialists, trained, have university courses for decoration, display. There may be terms for that, I don't know the terms, but they are specialized. And they arrange things in such an attractive way, they are such a temptation. When you go to a shopping mall, you cannot take your eyes away. You see this beautiful tie or shoe or blouse, you want to buy it. Because it is not the tie or blouse or shoes that jumps on you like virus, germs. They are there. Those shopkeepers, job they have done. Decorators, job they have done. They may be there. If you are careful, your inner mechanism, your mind, then you can ignore it. But it is very difficult. Temptation is so great. So you thought of buying this blouse or shoes or tie. You don't have to worry about money. There's a card, plastic card in the pocket. Just put the card and get it. When you come home, you find 10 ties exactly the same size, same kind, 10 kind of shoes, the same, blouse, the same kind of blouse. You know, sometimes when you go to certain houses, people invite us to show our houses, big, rich people's houses. They take us to show the house. Go and open the closets, walk-in closets. So many, hundreds of shirts, blouse, shoes, collected. In addition, they have collected items also. Not only this, collected items in a big showcase. They put this color. I got this from Japan. I got it from Kenya. When I visited Himalaya, I got this from Nepal. Just to show. Because they have so much inner mechanism, desire, greed, collect. So we must learn to let go our temptation in those places, to be, as we mentioned yesterday, to be simple, humble, and content. So when we practice meditation, mindfulness, these are the things we have to take care of. Looking at our own mind, looking at our own greed, looking at our own hatred, looking at our own inner fire. So daily mindfulness practice is that. Keep looking at our mind. Outside greed does not jump upon us. Outside objects don't have greed. They don't have hatred. They don't have confusion. They don't have temptation. It is our inner mechanism, greed. So, let them be there. That is how we practice mindfulness. This doesn't mean that you should not buy whatever you basically necessary. We have to prioritize our needs. Prioritize. What is the priority? What is the most necessary? Important, without which we cannot live. We get them. So mindfulness is another way of making prioritizing our needs. Mindfully we do that. So that even in practicing metta meditation, Buddha says, Santusa kocha subharocha, appakikyosa sallahuka utti. Santusa, contentment. Salla, light or simple life. Simple life. When we cluster our mind with all sort of things, we have no time to practice meditation or metta. Then there must be some room for us to practice metta. So, greedy intention is a person's essential pleasure. The world's pretty things stay just as they are. But the wise one remains restrained from desire. Desire or hatred oozing out from inside. It is not coming from outside. There's a very beautiful discourse in Samavati Nikaya. It is called Khira Rukkupama Sutta. Khira Rukkupama Sutta. Khira means milk. Rukka means tree. Upama means simile. Simile of milk tree. In the simile of milk tree is that suppose there is a tree, it has milk in it. Wherever you cut, milk comes out of it. If you take a knife and cut any part of the tree, milk comes out of it. It's called milk tree. Probably you might see those trees anywhere in the world. I remember going to Amazon jungle many years ago in Brazil. Our guide took us to the Amazon jungle, and he had a big machete and gave a blow to a tree. Milk came out, and he called it milk of magnesium. You can drink from the tree, fresh. Anyway, milk tree is like that. Wherever you cut, milk comes out. Similarly, what we put into us through our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, whatever we put in, that comes out. Suppose we see an object. We see an object. Object doesn't have greed, hatred and delusion. But because of that object, we generate hatred inside. We generate greed inside. And then when we see that similar object again, that greed comes out of us. That hatred comes out of us. What we put in will come out. And therefore, we always have to take care of our inner mechanism through the practice of mindfulness. So we have to restrain our senses. Restraining our senses is like, it doesn't mean that we close our eyes or plug our ears or plug our nose and so forth. They are there. But with mindfulness, we use our eyes with mindfulness. We use our ears with mindfulness. Nose, tongue, body and so forth. That is how we have to use, we have to restrain our senses. Just like a turtle. A turtle has 6 parts coming out of his body. His neck, forearms, legs and tail. 6. This fellow is very leisurely moving on the land without any fear of anybody, anyone. Then a fox also is going looking for some food. And fox is the turtle. Fox is slowly approaching the turtle. As fox is coming closer, turtle withdraws all his limbs inside. Turtle comes and sniff here and there, he cannot catch it. Nothing is there for him to catch. So he goes away. Similarly, what is this fox? This fox is the Mara. Mara. Mara is the evil, embodiment of evil is called Mara. Mara always is there to prevent us from doing wholesome things. And so, objects, Mara makes the object either tempting or to generate an object to generate hatred, projecting. And therefore we have to use our senses with mindfulness not to trap in the Mara's trap, not to get caught in the Mara's trap. That is what we have to do in daily meditation practice. For instance, as soon as you get up in the morning, you remember somebody who has done something to hurt you. From that point onward, you begin to think of angry thought, generate anger, hatred towards that person. You ruin your entire day. You have no peace in your entire day. Always you are very upset. You are irritable, emotional. Always something is wrong in you. Why? Because the morning you got up with that angry thought. At that time, if you are mindful, every moment when you get up, if you generate wholesome thought, friendly thought, loving friendly thoughts, compassionate thought of patience, tolerance, generosity, and so on, wholesome thought, the whole day you will be happy. And therefore, mindfulness is the way to make our mind work in a positive way. Another thing is, when we are mindful, we can avoid unwholesome thoughts. Even when you sit to meditate, the beginning of meditation, Buddha said, Kaya Karana Prasiviti Atapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya Loki Abhijya Domanasa. Be mindful of the body with the intention of overcoming greed and hatred. Abhijya Domanasa. That means when we meditate, greed can arise. When we sit to meditate, or when we walk in meditation, walk in meditation, or when you lie down in meditation, greed can arise. And immediately we must let go of the greed. Or anger can arise. Immediately we must let go of anger. Because anger generates very negative, harmful hormones. And that spreads all this harmful hormone generated in the brain, and that mixed with blood, and then that goes all over the body. And it can cause a lot of other sicknesses. When we have wholesome thought, very pleasing hormones will be generated. That goes all over the body, and that can make us peaceful and happy. That is why when we practice metta, metta is a very wonderful meditation. Even it is called mindfulness. Etam sating aditya, Buddha said. We practice this mindfulness. It is very interesting. Metta is called mindfulness. Mindfulness. We recite it at lunchtime, and even this morning we recited. Etang satim, practice this mindfulness. What mindfulness? Mindfulness of metta. Why is that? When we practice mindfulness of metta, or practice metta with mindfulness, our brain generates pleasing and positive hormones, and it spread all over the body through the bloodstreams, and it has its own power to heal certain ailments. Metta meditation has some healing power. So we have to be mindful. When we are mindful and practice metta, we can see the results immediately. And therefore, yesterday I tried to speak a little bit on the what you call patience and compassion and obedience and so forth. When we practice them, then we can overcome a lot of ailments, insecurity. We can develop our steadiness, our calm, peaceful mental state all day long. So friends, when we think about daily meditation practice, we have to think of these practical things, not only focusing mind on external objects. We focus our mind on internal objects inside our mind. So what we call introspective investigation. Introspective investigation is a very wonderful thing. Whether the beginner or those who have advanced in meditation, even after attaining enlightenment, mindfulness practice is always come handy, meaningful, maintaining our peaceful state of mind. I think, friends, this is all time I have this morning, and I wish you all remember at least some of the things that I mentioned this morning, to put into practice and make yourself your own guide, master, to continue your practice and live a very peaceful and happy life. I wish you best of luck.